Hey guys, I am here with some late night sessions with none other than the ANR Bad Publicity crew. Can you guys just go around the table and introduce yourselves?
I'm Jameson.
I'm Corpse Morn.
I'm Greg. Morning.
And all of us have had a wonderful time here at Worlds. Obviously, it's Saturday night, so this is the night of champions, really, I would say. And some of us played Netrunner. What?
It's the night of champions.
That's so true. We're going to tell you some heartbreaking tales of our times in Netrunner. Here's the thing that you guys don't understand about playing in a Netrunner tournament. You understand. You guys understand. There's a certain, whenever you're talking about things to the public, in a very public sphere, there's a certain weight that you carry with you in a tournament. Where, if you just gold brick the entire time, you have to question whether or not that is going to affect the amount of views and publicity that you're going to get. Which brings me to my first question to Jameson. Tell me about your tournament appearance today here at Worlds.
This is where I am.
Because I ended up...
I was running Stronger Together.
Were you really?
No.
Tell us about. Let's share our tournament experiences, right? Because these things need to be heard.
Let's just say that a cut was made. Some people were on one side of it, and some people were on the other side of that cut line.
What more needs to be said?
Lines were drawn. Soldiers divided.
Yep.
Anyway, we had a bit of a rough day. I ended up having a shot going into the final round, and then getting knocked out in a pretty epic, super close game that just didn't go my way. And that happens from time to time. You just hope it doesn't happen at that point. I understand you guys had some rough matchups as well.
Yeah, they're. I don't even know where to start today. It was fun. I can say that. And usually when someone tells you they had a fun time when you asked how their day went, that usually precedes to mean that you got beat down pretty good.
Yeah.
I lived in Splitsville all day. My corporation and my runner didn't want to win at the same game.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
It happens, man.
I do think that I made, so let's flip the switch, all seriousness. I do think I made the wrong call. I saw a lot more Blue Sun today than
That's the crazy thing of it, man.
I expected. Everything I had was tested to go up against an NEH deck, and when you put all your eggs in one basket like that, I thought I was somewhat diversified, but I was ready. I was ready to
Wayland's
play NEH.
a whole new world, man.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world.
And I just couldn't keep up with the economy that I needed quick enough to fight against Blue Sun.
Well, let's talk about lessons learned. Anyone have any?
Well, I'll flip it over to these guys here.
Yeah.
Greg, you guys know him as a Nord runner.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot to take away from an event like this. I guess on a bigger level, this is where the game is. This is the game right now.
Yeah.
This is the absolute cutting edge of
tapping near the mic.
Sorry, sorry, mic people.
That's going to come through like thunder.
That's a lesson that we have learned in the past.
Can you take that out in post?
Oh,
no.
This is a Team Covenant edited special. This is going to be like the shine will be
All right.
in there.
So the reality is this is the cutting edge, and it's interesting because you come in with certain expectations of what the field is going to be, etc. But the reality of a tournament like this is if the list is ever posted, go through it. So many great players are on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
My sense is if you run this tournament 100 times, you're probably gonna, if the luck skill variant is properly adjusted, you're probably gonna see half the same people in, half the same people out. If you run it over and over again. But it's a blast. It's a fun. It's a great environment. You put your decks on the line.
Yeah.
You get beat. You suck it up.
And you do it again.
And you do it again.
Try better. Yeah.
You do it again 6 more times.
Try harder.
Yeah.
What's on the horizon for? Tell us about ANR Bad Pub. I mean, what's going on for you guys now? I've heard a rumor, and it may all just be heresy. It may just be groupthink or just complete the rumor mill here. But I heard that the Throne 2nd Edition announcement has caused some thinking to be done.
I thought you were going somewhere different. I thought you were talking about that rumor that Team Covenant was buying out Bad Publicity.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
We tried to negotiate, but you would not back down from that $1 million price tag, and we're not ready yet.
He plays hardball.
Yeah,
Straight
Jameson
hardball.
plays serious hardball when it comes to acquisitions. But is there potentially a space in the future for you guys to look at more than just Netrunner as a game that you might promote and support and play in that whole thing?
Yeah, definitely the intentions were there to come down and pick up Conquest and play in the Conquest. But everybody knows, like, everything that FFG touches right now, it turns to gold.
Yeah.
Conquest, you hear it's such a great game, and everybody I talked to, like, all convention, I was looking for that one person to tell me, like, I just want one person to save me the money. I'm like, hey, how's Conquest? Oh, it's amazing. Hey, how's Conquest? Best game I've ever played. How's Conquest? This game rocks.
It's so visceral. You're gonna love it.
And I'm looking for that one guy to be like, nah, it's okay. And
Not for me.
And I'm like, oh, cool, I'll save my money. But I never found them. I never found anyone that said that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick up Conquest after this, State of the Union thing, right? Then in there, they're like, and we're gonna reboot Game of Thrones, and I'm like, what? Right, like, it's something that everyone has been waiting for so long.
Yeah. You guys playing Game of Thrones would be a dream come true. I mean, that'd be hilarious.
So it's as soon as that happened, I turned to Caleb, and we both were like, yep.
This
It's
is
time.
happening. Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
Well, what about the state? I'm quite interested in this because you guys are obviously a YouTube channel as well. What about the state of just like general communities for these games? So you're dealing in Netrunner, so we can talk in Netrunner terms. What's your read on the Netrunner community right now, both online and what you've met and seen here at Worlds? What's the general atmosphere, the general vibe?
Coming here to Worlds it's quite the experience. Like,
It's your first year, right?
This is my first year here, and I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. Like, absolutely phenomenal. It still is. I mean, you get to meet all sorts of great people from all over, but it's such a highly competitive environment. And you have people who are just pouring their heart and soul into this game, right?
Yeah.
And normally, when you meet people who do that, sometimes they can lack certain social ability.
Sure.
But
But
in this community, they have it all. It's all here. Everybody is so nice. Everybody's so good, so positive, so ready to just go out and play this game and just have a good time doing it, win or lose.
You know what? And it's still so surreal for me when I'm just like, sitting here doing my thing, and then somebody comes up and they're like, hi, I'm from France and I watched your show. I really like what you guys are doing. And I'm like, man, someone like halfway across the world knows our names, supports us. It's just so weird, right?
Knows our language.
I have seen, at least out of one of you, and I won't name any names, there's been a pretty ridiculous amount of poutine being eaten. And I was thinking to myself, these are some guys that come down from Canada and can't and just keep eating Canadian food. So what is it about fries and gravy and the whole show that is so intriguing that you can't go one meal without it? I'll direct this to you, Caleb. Just
Hey, why not? Why
just
not,
randomly,
guys? What
just
a treat.
randomly.
I ate 5 baskets of poutine in like 4 days. Okay, it's amazing. I don't know what this guy puts in it, but I mean, I've had some of the best from Canada, and I'm confident that I can say that. And the stuff here, like in this beautiful building, is fantastic. I did talk to the chef.
Yeah?
Yeah. He came out and he's like, "Oh, you're the guy," and we shook hands. And he was
He's legendary in the kitchen.
Oh, Caleb's out there again.
Oh my God, he's back again.
Oh, dude, the last basket I had was really full, so I think they do. But either way, like, it turns out this guy is like, he was from like high-end restaurants, and then he came here as soon as this place opened up, and he's been
Wicked.
doing it ever since. So he's been putting his little touch on everything, and it really shows. It's
Nice,
awesome,
man.
I don't know,
Nice.
American poutine.
Who
Who
knew?
would have thought? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of that tomorrow. Man. I haven't even tried any. What would you say, all of you guys? What would you say to somebody who's thinking about coming to Worlds? Maybe they're in Canada, or maybe they're in the States, or maybe they're in some other country. And it's like, should I make the trip? Is it ultimately really worth my time to do this thing? What would you say, like, honestly, to that person, right?
Here's what I would say. Come.
Yeah.
It's an experience like you won't have anywhere else.
Well, that's undoubtedly true.
I mean, for one, when I start laughing now, my stomach starts cramping. Because I have been nonstop gut-busting laughing since Thursday night since I got here. So number one, it's going to be one of the funnest weekends you'll have. But number two, if you're legitimately like competitive in your game, whether it's Thrones, Netrunner, whatever you play, like I was saying before, this is it, man. Like,
Yeah.
I think the best experience I've had so far, and to answer one of the questions you posed before, like how you're interacting with the community and how that's like bridging, like this is where it happens. Like this is where the greatest minds in a game will come together. And like we were all in our hotel room the other night, 2 nights ago, right? A whole bunch of us. And I'm looking around the room, I'm like, any one of these people can win Worlds.
Yeah.
And what were we doing? We were talking about this, we were talking about that. Oh, you're playing this card, you're playing, well, why do you play that? Well, oh, really? You play this? That's interesting. Like, why are you doing that, right?
Yeah.
And so you have this like enormous think tank for the game you love. And whether or not, like today I had a terrible day, I'll admit it. Like, I didn't play the best. Luck didn't go my way, whatever, like all the above. But I'm gonna come out of here not only like with so much experience of the fun I had, but the value of associating with the brightest minds in the world in this game.
Yeah.
I got to play the Polish national champion today. All these amazing, a top 8 nationals, U.S. national player today, and like, where can you get that anywhere else? Face to face, everyone comes to one spot. You just can't do that, and that's rich. So come, it's amazing.
You know what? I've said this a couple times, and it's really weird how a card game, like when you break it down, this is just a card game. It's just some pieces of cardboard, right? And how it brings people together, right? Like I can tell you that on Monday, I will already be counting down to the next Worlds. Because to me, I know this is going to sound weird because, it is a world champion event, but it's not about the game when I come here. It's about, I get to see my friends from all over this, world or all over this community that come together once a year here. And it's like the nights out, the events, coming here, and it's just chatting, sitting down with people that you haven't seen in a while, just like no time has passed at all. You go home, and obviously you can keep in touch now because the technology is there to keep these friendships alive over distances and stuff like that. But man, like it almost seems to me that this card game is second to the experience that you get here.
Totally.
Wicked. Yeah.
I just want to chime in real quick with just the logistics side of things. So I am not a man of very deep pockets, I would say. But listen, as soon as that date is set, and there's a lot of you out there watching right now that probably hummed and hawed about it, as soon as that date's set, get online, get yourself a cheap plane ticket. If you can drive here, I'm jealous of you, very, very jealous. But just get a cheap plane ticket, and there are so many hotels around here that charge very, very decent rates. Just make it happen. Just make it happen?
And don't forget to pre-register.
Pre-register. Super important.
Oh, Ian will love you for that.
So we have the Days Inn, we have the Radisson, we have the Holiday Inn Express, right?
Yeah.
We're all staying in the Days Inn, right?
Yeah.
Can we give a quick review of the Days Inn? Should we? Can like a 5-word review or a short
You mean like
summary?
you say one word and I say a word and it goes like around?
I think I've got a quick one. I sleep on the floor. There we go.
I got one.
I think
Go to the Radisson.
the most important thing I think to know is like if you're coming on a budget, stay at the Days Inn, but stay as little time as possible.
Yeah.
And if you want a donut, you get up at
just gonna say that.
you get up at 5 in the morning, and you better be banging down that continental breakfast store because there's 5 made in the morning. There's 5. Other than that, it's English muffins and like tiny apples. That's
And there's
basically
like that dispenser of Fruit Loops, right? You can get that too.
All right, guys.
Wait, before you go, were you surprised at the state of the game? When you came here?
I was texted super hard for NEH, and I finally hit it towards like 4th round and beyond, right? But first 2 matches, Wayland lost. There was the 2 losses all the way until the very end, right? So the problem with Netrunner, or the great thing about Netrunner, is you literally have corp decks that are pulling the runner in completely crazy and opposite directions, and not just 2 directions, but like 3 directions, right?
Yeah.
In my mind, it's Wayland, replicating, and NEH. And if you're ready to be NEH and replicating, I don't see how you can really have a favorable matchup against a really good Blue Sun Wayland player, right? So that was the issue coming in. So there is an element of, before the tournament even starts, you have to have made the right calls, right? And I started those first few rounds, and I was like, I made the wrong call. I took my Davids out. I took my, my tools to deal with Wayland. I took my Plascretes out. Like, I had nothing. And so, like, sometimes it's about calling it right, and it's about hitting those matchups that you need. With the sweet spot. And that's, But, like, if you look at the top 16, I think this is probably a very accurate top 16, right?
Yep.
Like, these are the names that I expected to see in a top 16. Myself and you guys excluded, of course. But it's all of, it's all the great minds that we were talking about have made it. So, like, the filtration process did a pretty good job, I think, of getting the correct people.
So where do you think the game is right now? Do you think what is coming that people need to be ready for?
I think Order and Chaos is going to be huge. Yeah. I mean, I think that's going to rock things. Right now, Anarch has one build, let's be honest, and it's noise. If you're going to play Anarch and not play viruses, you're not going to get a benefit. You're not going to get a whole lot of benefit.
100%.
And if you're playing viruses, you got to play at least 12. You got 3 data suckers, 3 parasites, 3 imps, and this meta is crazy. You've got Pinoido Keyhole, Medium, Nerve Agent, and all of these great things. And I'm ready to get a box that hopefully will separate Anarch from being completely virus dependent. That's my one hope. And then we've got an entire cycle and a half, 2 cycles of data packs until the next Worlds. So, like, the game's going to get blown open, I have no doubt. And I think, as much as people might complain about NEH is not really a huge issue to me. I won every match I had against NEH, right? It's not about that. It's about that there's too much diversity, which is an awesome problem to have. And if we can just get the runners a little bit more versatility, which I think this box might be able to do, then that will solve that problem, right? And,
so we're this is coming to a wrap up. Worlds is done. Everyone's made their final decisions.
Yeah.
We're going into the next cycle, which is Store Champions.
Yeah.
So start with Greg. Where do you think the focus needs to be for players out there?
What do they need to be thinking about and doing?
Yeah.
Moving into the next phase of the game?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think, like, for me personally, what I like to do after big tournaments like this is, like, the 3 months coming into a tournament, I'm honing. I'm playing what I think are my best decks, and I'm sticking to them, and I'm going to pare them down to what I think is going to win. After a big tournament like this, play everything. Yeah. That's my best advice, because especially when new packs are coming out, it's been really mind opening to me to see not only how, like, there was a 10-0 Jinteki PE player today.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
And the guy played PE like I've never seen it played. Brilliant. Like, it was amazing. I've been talking to some FFG people who, like, it's cool to see how FFG, like, really has a different angle on how they see the game. And, like, it's not like they don't know the game, right?
Right.
Like, they build this thing, and they are legitimately saying, like, hey, next design, we've been playing it for over a year, and it's been amazing. And in my mind, I'm saying to myself, it hasn't been consistent for me. Yeah. So, like, to your point, there's so much versatility in this game, and I've always tried to look at, how can I build a connections deck, or how can I build a shape, like, whatever. So I would just go explore the meta, explore the card pool, explore different strategies.
Time for that.
Forget about what the cool kids on the internet say. Go explore the game.
Hey, but we're the cool kids on the internet.
Yeah. It's kind of like forget about what was playing.
I'm being humble here.
Yeah.
No, seriously, just go play stuff and learn the game, because you get fixed in a criminal build. You lose the elements of what Shaper and Anarch bring to the game.
Yeah.
And you need to know that if you want to be a top-notch player, you gotta have the full picture of how the game plays. Yeah. So I think now is the right time. Just be different. Figure something out. You can always go back to what you played at Worlds or at
that's what I was just gonna say. Like, if you keep playing what was played at Worlds, that ain't gonna help you next year.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
So.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you want to say quick then?
No, man, I'm good. I'm full of poutine.
You're just gonna, wait for the next guy to write Anatomy of a Shaper, and
then play that.
Anatomy of Missing the Cut, I think, is what will be the next article.
Oh man.
So I think that going forward, I think it's going to be very important to look back. There's a lot of gem cards still that are ignored, And I think like you and I were saying last time we sat down, right? I think it's more important to try different things and don't be afraid of going into a store tournament or a organized play night and just going like 0-6.
Yeah.
Right. Like try things out. Deep dive. If you haven't played any Anarch, you're gonna have to start dabbling in it because they're getting a lot of crazy tools. We've seen. We did the draft the other day, and it is packed with these weird Anarch cards that are gonna flip this runner game like you have never seen it before.
Yeah.
Dabble in Wayland, but don't forget about these other identities. Like you said, I was going to say I still believe that next design there could be something there. They were just waiting for the right ice set.
Yeah, exactly.
Steven, thank you very much. I know you guys have done a lot for us over this last year, helping us Bad Publicity get rolling.
For sure, yeah, man. It's totally
bringing
worth
the
it.
attention
You
to
guys
us,
are
so
great dudes.
We really want to say thanks for that. Thanks to everyone who bought that token set and helped us out. Much appreciated. And you need to really support these guys and what Team Covenant is doing, because if you saw what I saw and the work that went in behind the cameras here today on the Twitch streams and stuff like that all weekend, these guys have not even I don't know, have you slept?
We do a little sleeping.
Yeah.
We try.
Yeah.
We have to turn down some good times, to get the sleep.
Sacrifices must be
it's
made,
worth it,
right? The greater good.
It's really, well. Thanks so much for saying that, man, and thank you guys so much for all you do
Always,
and
man.
for
Seriously.
coming on, and we'll catch you next year.
You
at
guys
least
are
at
the
Worlds.
class of the Netrunner community.
Oh,
Thank
well.
you for all you do.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks, and thank you guys for watching. We will catch more. Well, a little bit more probably from Worlds tomorrow. It's going to be Sunday, and then we'll be back to our normal content, and it's going to be more exciting than ever over the next, by the time Worlds comes around next year, I think we're going to be doing some wild stuff, and hopefully you guys as well.
BPTC crossover next year.
Exactly.
Oh, and weren't you going to say, if you won Worlds, weren't we going to make that SWKJ processor chip?
I think
right,
that was
to compete with the LLDS, it was going to be a higher quality processor, right?
It would have, yes, it would. I can only imagine the flavor text on that. It would be really classic. Maybe we should figure out what that flavor text would be before we even design the card. I think that would be a great way to go about
That's
it.
usually the way I design my cards. Flavor text first, build it out, bottom up.
All right, cheers, guys. We'll catch you later.